to have been made. The member for Kitchener-Conestoga has given notice of dissatisfaction with the answer to a question given today on April the 8th by the Minister of Environment. The member has up to 5 minutes to debate the matter, and the minister or parliamentary assistant may reply for 5 minutes. The member for Kitchener-Conestoga.
Thank you, Speaker. Given the Liberals' propensity to introduce new taxes, I think it's important to remind viewers at home about the Liberals' eco-tax record. Plus, I know the parliamentary assistant had difficulty understanding the facts I laid out last night. And I don't think I saw him jotting down too many notes, so I'd like to provide a bit of a refresher on the Liberal history of eco-taxation so he can hopefully knock some sense into his Environment Minister. As we all know, the Liberals created eco-taxes in 2008 as part of the Liberal taxation binge, which almost included an onerous job-killing carbon tax. The godfather of eco-taxes, who is none other than Dalton McGuinty, introduced Ontario's first ever eco-tax scheme in 2008. This move toward eco-taxation expanded rapidly under the McGuinty-Wynne Liberals. In just 2 years, the Liberal government introduced 3 eco-tax regulations, set up 3 waste diversion programs, and created 2 new recycling monopolies, or what the parliamentary assistant likes to call industry-run recycling cartels. First, there's Regulation 54206, which the Liberals established to create their municipal hazardous or special waste program. Not only did this Liberal-created regulation begin the use of eco-taxation in the province, but it led to the Liberals' eco-tax fiasco in July 2010, which I know this member is quite familiar of in front of me. When eco-taxes were imposed on thousands of household products, including everything from detergent to shampoo to pharmaceuticals. Instead of protecting consumers, the Liberal minister responsible for consumer protection was MIA, while the former Environment Minister defended eco-taxes. In fact, the former minister, along with the McGuinty-Wynne Liberals, encouraged companies to begin displaying the eco-tax amount on price tags as a way to continue its multi-million-dollar eco-tax scheme. Just think that today Stewardship Ontario now collects more than $51 million a year in eco-taxes to run the Liberals' Orange Drop program for household hazardous materials. Then there's Regulation 39304, which established the Liberals' Waste Electrical and Electronic Equipment program. Using this regulation, the Liberals not only introduced eco-taxes on everything from iPods to TVs to computers, they also set up a new unaccountable recycling monopoly, or again what the member opposite would refer to as a cartel. Do you know how much eco-tax revenue this organization now collects? $88 million a year, Speaker. Then there's the tire eco-tax program, which the Liberal government created for no other reason than it wanted to help their buddies set up another recycling monopoly. Regulation 8403 gives Ontario Tire Stewardship the power to impose massive eco-taxes on all sorts of tires. If that wasn't bad enough, earlier this year the Environment Minister developed a new eco-tax formula under Regulation 4513, which sent eco-taxes up by as much as 2,200% on farm tires. In response to farmer outrage, the Environment Minister went back to work tinkering with the eco-tax funding formula. And what was the best he could come up with? Break the exorbitant eco-tax increases in half. Half for this year, half for next year. When I asked the Environment Minister about these massive eco-tax increases in question period just on Monday, he said the eco-tax funding formula is, and I quote, beneficial and reasonable. Let me assure the government members present tonight now, Ontario's hardworking farmers wholeheartedly disagree. The Liberal tire tax formula is detrimental and unreasonable. I think comments like this just show how really out of touch the Liberal government is from reality. Rather than take responsibility for the eco-tax mess they created, the Liberals continue to make up silly stories, hoping the press will just buy whatever they feed them. So let's just recap on how absurd the Environment Minister has been acting over the last few weeks. After getting caught for forcing onerous new eco-taxes on Ontarians, the Environment Minister first played dumb. He said he did not know why there were eco-taxes, even though he sent a signed letter to Ontario Electronic Stewardship earlier this year, giving them the authority to jack up the eco-tax on big-screen TVs by 40%. He then pretended to be suffering from a sudden case of selective amnesia when questioned about farm tire eco-taxes, even though he created the tire eco-tax formula earlier this year. He then promised to make companies bury eco-taxes into the price of their products at the very same time the Premier was out telling the media that consumers and businesses needed to understand that eco-taxes are a necessary cost of dealing with waste. Instead of being bold and correcting his leader, which would have taken courage, the Environment Minister backtracked on eco-taxes and even told the Canadian press he now doesn't even know if he can get rid of them. The Environment Minister needs to stop speaking out of both sides of his mouth and actually, for once, start telling Ontarians the truth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.